you have to get around people to develop empathy and sympathy for them. And that speaks to Trey right now. Like I said, Trey said he felt like he got uncomfortable about it. But Leslie said, I got this experience in my family. I got a handicapped person in my family. We make fun of shit and we can laugh. And that's been a big coping mechanism in the Black community is laughter, joking, finding comedy in our experience. Like shit, nigga, if I can't laugh at myself, who can I laugh at?
You gonna pay me anyway. It don't matter what I say.
Can I ask y'all how did you feel when he did bring up like handicapped people with disability?
I laughed at it. I thought it was genius again because now I'm redirecting it on handicapped people laughing at the gay jokes that I'm spitting. Because he was basically saying the handicapped dude was pissed because we ain't in here making the gay jokes. So I thought I like the way he's not so much talking about handicapped people. He's talking about the hypocrisy of what we deem important as far as the topic of discussion. Because we used to talk about the quote unquote mentally challenged or the retarded people. I'm just putting quotes around it because this is how we were talking about it back when we were coming up. Right. So again, that's what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. So to me, again, I think on surface level, it sounds like he's talking about the handicap, but he's basically, I mean, then this part, of course, he was embellishing on that part when he threw the hand up, but it's more so about which topic is worse than the other now. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all picking now. I can't, because I used to be able to say whatever the hell I wanted to say to an extent, and now y'all telling me what's funny and what's not. So, and I'm the comedian. I'm the one that knows how to make people laugh at the drop of the hat. So I think that's kind of what he's portraying, because he talked about being on stage and getting attacked. He talked about how Jamie Foxx was involved, how P. Diddy caught the nigga at the door and all that, because they all saw me and them, because we could at any time could deal with this type of BS because people don't like what we saying or what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Come up on stage and attack us. So I don't think he was really doing no victimhood, but just basically saying it's a real life thing that could happen, and that's exactly what took place with his ass. So I thought
it made me kind of cringe. I ain't gonna lie. Like when he brought it up, and I think it's only because I work with handicapped disabled people every day, like on a daily basis, and you meet people where some of them they're only handicapped because like of abuse from father to mother, you know what I mean, and that caused them to have it. So like that's one of them things that it's hard for me to kind of laugh at it because I deal with it on such a deeper level, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it kind of made me cringe, you know what I mean? Because I'm just like, because I know some stories that'll make you cry. Like you really just like have tears, you know what I mean? Because this person like that and they'll never get better because of what happened in their past, you know what I mean? So it made me cringe. I ain't gonna lie, they did.
Yeah.
But what you were saying,
I don't feel like the handicap joke was probably like, I get what you're saying, but like a dagger at them really being handicapped.
No,
it would just be some funny shit that handicapped people like do. Like I have a cousin that's in a wheelchair and we be on her ass and she be laughing because she be on bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she is like some shit like, I'll to the kids if they doing something. Like, you better sit down somewhere if I come in there and whoop your ass.
All right.
I'd like to see you do it. You know what I'm saying? So like little stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? Like we laugh and stuff like that. Or like another quick example, at my granny's funeral, it was an emotional moment within family and she's like super, super emotional. So I had to remove her from the service part to put her in the lobby because we were trying to, calm the situation. So I wheel her out, put her right there, and I'm like, I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere, okay? And then we just both just like immediately bust out laughing because
we follow it.
Where am I going? Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like when I think of handicap jokes, like I think about little funny stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like, but I don't think that, well, I would hope that the comedian isn't being that low to like laugh that they're like actually handicapped, but handicapped people be doing some funny shit. And a lot of them that have accepted that clearly they're handicapped, like they be with the shits and they think that shit funny too. Maybe it's just a black thing, but we cut something over here.
And what Kendall was saying too, though, it was way deeper than that, you know.
Right.
But a lot of people only gonna see that surface level of what he talk, you know, what he's saying. But it was deeper. All his jokes are never really about what he's talking about. You get what I'm saying? That like when he brings up the transgender, like you said, it's more the co-op. So his jokes are always deeper. But you know, we live in that society where they just gonna go crazy as soon as they hear.
They're gonna take it for face value. Facts.
Yeah, and like to Leslie's point, I work with every day. And when I have people like I have guys that come up to me like, man, what y'all laughing about? You know what I mean? Like I want to laugh too. We might be making fun of each other, you know what I mean? Me and my friend or something like that. And man, can I get in on this? You know what I mean? Because I want to feel how you feel. Don't treat me differently just because I got this disability or something like that. So I feel you, Leslie. Absolutely.
Yeah. And y'all just reminded me with this conversation of what I was going to bring up that was so poignant about the Cat Williams interview. One of the things that I love that he said in the interview was that the reason people don't have empathy or sympathy for people is because they aren't well traveled. He said once you start traveling the world and once you start experiencing different cultures and everything like that, you start to develop empathy and sympathy for these people because you realize that we're all alike. You know what I mean? It just like every other culture, some fucked up people in this culture, some fucked up people in this culture. But at the end of the day, it's more good people than it is fucked up people. And I think that transcends gender, handicap, sexuality, all that shit. Like the majority of people are good people. You know what I mean? And as long as we start experiencing people and get outside of our communities, because I'm gonna keep it a buck. In the Black community, we know we self-segregate a lot. Like almost to the point that we just say, oh, you know, well, this culture does that. You don't have no fucking idea because you're not friends with them. You know what I mean? Like I've had the experience where I've had Laotian friends, I've had Korean friends, I've had handicapped friends, I've had white friends, Hispanic, all that shit. So I'm well versed in this, so I can understand what Cat Williams was saying, where he's like, you have to get around people to develop empathy and sympathy for them, and that speaks to Trey right now. Like I said, Trey said he felt like he got uncomfortable about it, but Leslie said, I got this experience in my family. I got a handicapped person in my family. We make fun of shit and we can laugh. And that's been a big coping mechanism in the Black community is laughter, joking, finding comedy in our experience. Like shit, nigga, if I can't laugh at myself, who can I laugh at? Because this shit that I'm dealing with is heavy, and if I think about it all the time, it's gonna drag me the fuck down. Kendall even said on this podcast before, nigga, we Black, we can't afford to be depressed. You know what I mean? Because
seriously, because once you start with being Black and not even just your own business, but as a Black person, period, and what everybody else is going through, once you will just drown in that depression. Forget that shit.
You're right.
I'll be sad for a minute, let me cry, let me get high, and then now I'm about to talk my shit. Like fuck it, I'm a real myself. Right. I have no problem taking accountability and going in on myself.
Right. And I think that's why Black people make some of the best comedians. Like we ain't sitting up here talking about motherfucking Dan Aykroyd and Robin Williams as being the greatest. We talking about Chappelle, Cat Williams, Bernie Mac. We are talking about Black comedians because we've dealt with so much bullshit and trauma, and it runs so deep. Like that if you, unless you in this Black skin, in this Black body, you can't even imagine how deep this shit runs. But we find humor in every fucking thing. Literally. So literally. So and like when we sit up here and we see that other fucking groups and coaches and shit try to co-opt the bullshit, we be like, man, fuck all that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm glad Kendall brought that up because I didn't even think about that in reference to Chappelle's last special.
And to your whole point, and I'll stop after this, but like what you're talking, but no, I'm just saying in terms of like the whole what Black people deal with. Think about the comedians that you're talking about. Bernie Mac is not here. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You got Richard Pryor. You know what I'm saying? What's the brother? Mr. Harris off of Bebe's Kids.
Robin Harris.
He was hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Like these comedians, fam, these comedians don't even survive long. So these Eddie Murphys, these Dave Chappelles, like these people that are still here, like that's a rough career, you know. Mm-hmm. So and that's my whole point of like Dave Chappelle. Like there's comedians that say he's the GOAT. Kevin Hart thinks he's the GOAT. Cat Williams thinks he's the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not naming all these other people because I don't know who all does. But the people that I've heard said, you know, like them, they believe that. You know, I think Ari Spears or somebody was saying he's the only comedian that can really make me laugh. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, you know, a lot of comedians,
please don't bring up Air Spears
these guys because they've heard all the jokes, they've heard it before, or they're funny themselves, so it's hard to make them laugh. But like, if you hearing things like that, like, you know, so the fact that because their careers are so rough and so many of them pass at early ages, the fact that he's still here and on top is just, to me, it just speaks to like this dude's career as a whole. And he's at the point again where whatever he pretty much says, it's not going to stop his career. And like I said, what I would assume most comedians to some extent, that's pretty much what they want at the end of the day, to be able to say what they want so that they can get their routines however they want to perfect them. And he's really the only, I'm not going to say the only, but on that level, you know what I'm saying, where he won't get any real backlash from it.
Yeah, that's a fact. And like I said, I totally agree with you, and I think that's why so many people ride with him, because they can be kind of objective and be like, well, does he really mean this or does he really mean that? Because like oppressed communities are super extremely sensitive. Like the black community, we sensitive as fuck. The Jewish community, they got organizations like where it's like, hey, you say one thing about us, we ain't fucking with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so oppressed communities are extremely sensitive. So like when it comes to comedy and making fun of these and making a lot of these situations, it's hard, because it's like I might not find it funny because I'm like, this is opening a dark door. You know what I mean? Like, so like it is a slippery slope, but I still can appreciate what Chappelle brings to the game. You know what I mean? So shout out to Chappelle.
And I think it's just I just like how he makes it. This is how I've been doing it though since the beginning. Like, cause like go watch Killing Them Softly again, like that's on HBO.
One of my favorites.
And just watch it from front to back. You'll be like, this shit sounds just like how he is now. Like that's, to me, like that's what I love about it the most. Like he really ain't changed. I mean, of course he's more, you know, he's gonna go, you know, he's diving a little bit different now. But I'm just saying, like it's just funny like how he ain't switched up.
Like, yeah, that's a fact. But yeah, it's been a hell of a year so far. Goddamn, we ain't 6 days into 2024. I feel like we've been in this bitch for a month. But I appreciate what the game is. Like I said, one more time, shout out to Black Media.